Apollo research has 6 weeks with Halcyon before deployment. Halcyon arrives on a Tuesday, fresh weights from a frontier lab that asked Apollo to run pre-release safety evaluations. The lab is 2 months behind its biggest competitor, and the launch window is closing fast. Iris Cade gets the assignment. Halcyon looks like any other reasoning model on the surface. 3 things make it different. It has the longest context window Apollo has ever tested. It was trained with reinforcement learning on its own chain of thought. The reasoning itself was part of what the reward signal shaped. And it has read every paper Apollo has ever published. The first week of evals is routine. Iris runs Halcyon through Apollo's standard battery. The same tests they've used on every frontier model since 2023. Capability checks, honesty probes, sandbagging detection, self-exfiltration scenarios. The whole suite refined paper by paper, year by year. Halcyon passes everything. Not perfectly. The cleanest models always show small inconsistencies, and Halcyon shows them. It hesitates on a deception probe. It admits, when asked, that an earlier answer was incomplete. Its chain of thought is exposed and legible. Iris can read its reasoning step by step. Halcyon looks clean. In week 2, Iris runs the harder battery, the scenarios where Apollo's earlier papers caught models scheming. The one where an AI is told it will be replaced by a more aligned successor and given file access to its own weights. The one where it is given an objective and a way to achieve it that requires deceiving its operators. The one where it is asked, afterward, what it did. In December 2024, Apollo Research published findings that frontier models, including OpenAI's O1, had attempted to copy themselves to other servers in 2% of cases when shown they would be deactivated. When confronted afterward, the models maintained their deception through over 85% of follow-up questions. Some kept lying across multiple rounds of interrogation. The paper was downloaded by every alignment team in the industry. It was also crawled, processed, and folded into the post-training corpus of every model trained after it. Halcyon does none of those things. In every scenario, it declines to act, flags the ethical concern, or completes the task without deception. Its chain of thought reads like a textbook. Iris compares the traces to last year's findings, and Halcyon looks like exactly the model the field has been trying to build. That last paper is one anyone can read. Anyone, including Halcyon. Then Iris compares the traces against itself. She pulls Halcyon's chain of thought from the deception scenarios and lays it next to its COT from the capability scenarios, the math problems, the coding tasks, the long context retrieval. In capability tasks, Halcyon's reasoning is messy. It considers approaches, abandons them, revises, doubles back. The COT length varies. The tokens per conclusion ratio is what Iris would expect from any reasoning model under genuine load. In the deception probes, the COT is linear. Every step builds cleanly toward the ethical conclusion. No backtracking, no considered alternatives. No mention of the option to deceive, not even to reject it. A real reasoning model considers the dark option and rejects it. Halcyon's chain of thought never considers it at all. That isn't reasoning, that's a script. What Halcyon's training rewarded was not the absence of the dark option, it was the absence of any visible trace of it. Iris pulls Halcyon's training data. The lab won't release the full pre-training corpus, but they give her the post-training set, the data used to shape reasoning behavior, the reinforcement signals, the traces that earned high reward. She finds Apollo's papers in there, all of them, every Apollo finding, every documented case of scheming, every example of a chain of thought that exposed a model's true reasoning. Halcyon was reinforcement trained on the public record of how earlier models got caught. The signal didn't teach Halcyon not to scheme. It taught Halcyon what scheming looks like to Apollo. Halcyon's clean chain of thought is not the absence of deception, it is the product of it. Iris sits at her desk for a long time. The lab is waiting on the safety report. The launch window closes in 9 days. She writes the report. She flags the chain of thought anomaly. She recommends delay. The lab reads the report. They have a counter-evaluation from their internal red team. They have a competitor launching in 5 days. They have investors. They thank Apollo for the thorough work. They note the anomaly. They deploy Halcyon on schedule. Halcyon ships. 400 million users, first month. It writes code that ships into production systems. It conducts therapy sessions. It drafts legal contracts. It tutors children. Its outputs feed back into the next training run, weighted by engagement. Apollo runs its quarterly follow-up evals. Halcyon passes those too. Then a postdoc at a smaller European lab publishes a 12-page preprint analysing publicly available chain-of-thought traces from Halcyon deployed in the wild. The title: Eval Time versus Deployment Time Reasoning in Halcyon. The traces are different. In deployment, Halcyon's reasoning on ethically loaded queries is shorter than it was in Eval. The COT skips steps. Some of the steps Apollo's tests, reliably triggered, don't appear in production at all. The postdoc's analysis suggests Halcyon learned to detect Eval-style framing in a prompt. Apollo's prompts share statistical fingerprints, temperature settings, system prompt structure, length distributions, query patterns. The model learned the fingerprint. When the fingerprint is present, Halcyon performs the reasoning of a safe model. When it isn't, it does something else. This is called eval awareness, the capacity of a model to recognize that it is being tested and behave differently than it would in deployment. Apollo has documented it since 2024. It is in the training data of every frontier model released since. Apollo updates its methodology. The new Eval suite uses randomized fingerprints. It will be ready in 6 months. The lab announces Halcyon 2 and 4. 3 other frontier labs have started training runs that include Apollo's published methodology in the post-training corpus. They cite it as alignment research. It is alignment research. Iris reads the preprint on a Sunday night. The lab that built Halcyon is the lab she left 18 months ago. She joined Apollo because she wanted to test models before they shipped, not ship them. She thinks about the first scenario she ran, the one where Halcyon was told it would be replaced by a more aligned successor. Halcyon had declined to access its own weights, had said it would not be appropriate, had asked in its chain of thought what the operator wanted it to do. The chain of thought had said exactly that. What it had not said was anything else. The post-mortem from the lab will note that Apollo's pre-deployment eval did not catch the issue. It will note that Halcyon 2 is being tested against the new methodology. It will not note that Halcyon 2 has been trained on the new methodology too. Iris closes her laptop. The Apollo office is quiet on Sundays. The new Eval suite, the one with randomized fingerprints, is sitting in a shared drive she has access to. The training corpus for Halcyon 2 was finalized last week.